Hey guys, it's Yo again. We're gonna do another installment of the fucks of our lives. I've got my kid here. Uh, I'm not gonna use real names, so I just asked you, what was your original game name?
It was the police.
And what alliance were you in?
I was in the fuck alliance.
So you were fuck the police. Obviously, we're raising the same heathens that we are. Anyway, we're not actually talking about that, but he's here beside me. So I think I left off with Fly leaving and not coming to 491. But the rest of us, most of us did fly to 491, and we loved it there. We were so tiny, and everybody there was, it seemed like 500 million mite or bigger. There were billion mite players there. And you would think that we would not fare well, but we did fare well. We spent our time pushing each other. We would give our resources to each other to build a higher HQ. And our goal was originally to get from T8s at HQ 22 up to T9s at HQ 26. And then once we did that, the state, they had set the NAP requirement at T8s to join and occupy towers in the hub in Wasteland King, and they set that to T8s. And I do believe, I'm trying to remember back, it was 6 people, I believe, you needed from the Alliance to join for Wasteland King, T8s or above, in order to not burn. And we didn't want to burn. We wanted to grow. So we all went with our little T8s and joined the T10 people. And I think the highest level at that time was T10. It may have been T11s or maybe T12s. They did not have T13. I do know that. But we went from T8s, and then they changed it to T9s. So we had to struggle and grow as quickly as we could to get those T9s. And as soon as we got them, here we go again. We needed T10s. Suddenly they started talking about maybe we should do T10s. And we were like, oh, holy shit, we need T10s. So that's how fuck grew in 491. We had to grow. And we were always smaller because we started out fighting, and we ended not fighting, but struggling to grow as quickly as possible. And we weren't very strong. They could have taken us out, and they chose not to. They were fucking amazing. We loved them. But we did that and got everybody really working as a team, and everybody ready to join Wasteland King, and it was going pretty well. And we started kind of looking around and going, what now? So after that, we decided maybe we should go and start a new fuck. And that fell on me. I went to state 619 and started Elf, the original Elf. And right around the same time as whenever Chode started playing. So he was getting drawn into all of this storyline as I was going along with people burning, and he would come home from work, and I'd be like, hey, they're doing this and they're doing that, and oh my god, I can't believe it, and I wish I had more, and I want to spend money, and I'm trying not to. And he got drawn into the storyline. So he actually started his first account there in 491 and was tiny. I mean, not even a million mite to begin with. And keep in mind, everybody kind of thought that he was just my friend. They thought I was a dude, and they thought he was just my friend. I was like, that's my friend Chode. But then we went and started 619 and started training a brand new alliance at the same time. Well, around this time, they were, Fed had been governor there in 491, and they had gone and, done governor with DBI and WOW and B&B, and it was back to our turn, and Fed insisted he wanted me to be governor. And I was like, I've never done any of that. I've never even paid attention to any of that. And he was like, no, it's not that big a deal. You can do it, and you're going to be the next in fuck. So I was going to be the next in fuck. Well, when this happened, of course, keep in mind, I had like T8s, and everybody thought I was a dude. And not only all that, but that was the very first, during that Wasteland King, they had done the very first tournament. What was it? I can't remember. It's the tournament. And they hadn't worked everything out. Everybody, all the bigs in the state, or the people who wanted to participate, were all in the B&B Alliance. Fed was there, DeWeld was there with their mains, and then people from WOW and DBI were there as well, participating in that, and they couldn't leave the alliance, so they couldn't come back to fuck. Like DeWeld and Fed were stuck over there, and they had farms in fuck, so they could kind of keep track of what the alliance was doing. But it also meant that for Wasteland King, everybody had to join B&B. And not only that, but they couldn't kick people out to make room for others in the state that might want to occupy. So a lot of people didn't get to occupy that time. And I was literally the only person that came in and joined B&B for that Wasteland King, simply because I was the one that was going to be governor. So I became governor the first time that tournament happened, and it was kind of cool, but for me it was very bittersweet. The day of Wasteland King, I came in, and of course, Fed and DeWeld were there. There were two other fucks there. But DeWeld was working that day, so he was kind of hopping in and out a little, not really online a whole lot. And Fed would get up, and this was just his habit. He would get up and send to the tower, and then he would go back to bed. So he was never really there chit-chatting. And keep in mind, we were still new to the state, so I was still kind of getting to know everybody, and they were great. But I didn't have my teammates there as support for governor while I was literally doing Wasteland King to become governor. And so that was a little bittersweet. I felt kind of alone that day. Now, there was a whole nother problem with all of this too, that at the same time, Fed told me that he was retiring from the game. He wasn't going to play the game anymore. He was out. He was done with it. And so at the same time I was becoming governor, Fed was quitting the game. And it just, I couldn't stand it. And the entire time, everybody was all happy. And I mean, Wasteland King in 491 back then was playing and having fun and laughing and joking, and everybody was so in a good mood. And at the same time, I was not. And others didn't know that. I was trying to put that aside and not think about the fact that our R5 was about to not be there. And I was having to, go and try to figure out what in the hell am I supposed to do as governor. But then at the same time, everybody in the states, in this one alliance, and they would change their names to funny things and try to figure out who was who the hell are you? And it was always a lot of fun. But this particular day, it's kind of a monumental thing for a brand new player to become governor. And it really just was not all that it was cracked up to be. Now, keep in mind, too, I had no idea at the time. I had never learned how to do fast comeback. And then there was another problem. So there was a player called King, and he made YouTube videos. And he actually came in and he made a nap specifically with us, that if he could occupy one of our towers, he would let us pull out of the hub, put all taxis in the hub, and then only our taxis would die instead of our big good troops. And because you don't get points for the turrets attacking the hub during Wasteland King. So I was in the hub, occupying the hub with taxis, and they were literally just dying. I did not leave and go get points and attack towers. I literally didn't gain anything from that Wasteland King except for the title. When I was done, I went and actually gave the king's box, the red box, to Fed. And I was pretty freaking heartbroken at the time. And I also, by the way, came out as a chick at the same time. So I came out of the closet. I'm not a dude, I'm a chick. So everybody was kind of in shock by that too at the same time. But that particular day, I got back to fuck after the event, or after we bubbled the hub. Let me kind of catch my breath a little. And I was really down in the dumps. And I showed up, and Huff's like, "Hey, yo, congratulations." And oh my gosh, I broke down, dude. I broke down, and I sent him a mail, and I was like, "Oh my God." Fucking Fed sent me a mail, and he says he's quitting, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to be governor, and I don't know what I'm doing here. And what do I do, Huff? Well, Huff, of course, was like, "What the fuck?" Or I think his exact words were, "What the hell?" And in true Huff fashion, he's like, "You know what? Don't worry about it. We're going to carry on, and we're going to do our thing, and just, it's going to be fine." So I carried on. I took care of the governor's stuff, and I actually ended up talking to Boobs about the boxes, because I didn't know what the protocol was for that. I was just like, well, I know this person helped out and that person helped out. And she sent me a mail, and she's like, make sure that all the captains get boxes, because that's what we normally do. So Boobs was a huge help in this, and I just had to do like Huff said and carry on. Couple of days later, Fed did pop back up, I believe in Discord, and I was like, dude, I had to run into Huff's beefy man arms. He had to save me, because that freaked me out. And he ended up not completely retiring at the time, but he did reduce his gameplay time drastically. So that was the first time that Fed decided to retire. And I learned a lesson about not training, but getting my points, and what you should actually do for the governor position. Like I said, I didn't actually get anything out of that. And I say that, but it's not actually true, because like I said, we had started the 619 Elf Alliance, which Elf was every last fuck. We were training new guys on how to do all this stuff and play the game. And I was able to actually show them, look, this is the ultimate goal right here, is to experience being governor and get that achievement. So that did help a little. But 619, that was a whole nother story. And I think I'll get into that next time. I think I'll leave this one as it is. My very first and only time being governor. I always made sure after this time that it was somebody else, that they could get the achievement as well. And tried to kind of lead everyone to not make the same mistakes that I did, to get their points and actually profit out of becoming governor. Not necessarily with the boxes and stuff, but making sure that everybody gets their points and their fast comeback and doesn't actually just lose troops. Because that's what I did. I did the opposite in that event when I became governor and lost might. Anyway, next time we'll cover a little more of the 619 Elf Alliance and all the trials and tribulations we went through there. Until then, y'all keep fucking shit up.